Hey everybody, we are back. We're leaving the Grand California Hotel, and we thought we would just do kind of a quick recap of the trip. We'll be putting out a podcast here probably in about a week to 10 days or so about the trip. We're still kind of working through some podcast distribution with some of the platforms. But we'll give a full recap of our trip kind of, end to end. But for purposes of the vlog, we thought we'd kind of book in the trip. We started in the car on the way to the hotel, and now we are in the car on the way to the airport. So leaving sunny Southern California, where the weather has been spectacular. I think the weather reports kind of suggested some rain at times, and man, it just turned out to be gorgeous here all 4 days. So it was a great trip. So Sam,
he told me not to bring my bathing suit. I just want to put this out there. He told me not to bring my bathing suit, and I totally could have because it was warm enough.
I didn't bring mine because I had like no room in my luggage. I brought running gear that I didn't use, so I probably could have replaced it with a bathing suit. But dragging all of this like video equipment now around for this is its own beast. So anyway, Sam, favorite highlight of the trip?
Oh my God, there's so many. Okay, I would say Napa Rose Chef Table was probably number one. Yeah.
Napa Rose Chef's Table?
Yeah.
What was my favorite highlight of the trip? So I'm gonna go with two. One is it was just really nice for Sam and I to get away and have some time together. We just don't get that a lot. We try to take kind of one trip a year, one longer trip and maybe one shorter trip a year, just the two of us. And so, our son is, he's awesome. He's a little bit special needs, at least at a minimum, kind of a high maintenance kiddo. And so we need some time sometimes to just relax and recharge. So we're glad that we got that and can kind of go back to Kirkland and be kind of the best parents we can be for him. I'd say my highlight was finally unlocking Bi-Coastal Rise of the Resistance achievement. We were here a month ago and we couldn't make that happen despite I feel like 2 efforts. We got the boarding pass on Friday here and it didn't happen. The ride actually broke down on Friday evening to the point where they just shut it down 2 hours or 2.5 hours ahead of park closing, and we were 4 boarding groups away. And then on Saturday when we got into the park, we tried to get the app to give us a boarding group, and just it struggled. And when we finally got one, it was like boarding group 74, and we were being told that was a backup boarding group for the day, which sort of hinted to me that the ride was going to be closed for a big portion of the day, which turned out to be true. They didn't open or start calling boarding groups for the ride until 12:30, and so super late. And so
they're usually calling boarding groups starting in the morning by 8:30, really.
Yeah. I won't go into all the ins and outs of the boarding groups and the review of the ride and all that sort of stuff. It's just suffice it to say it's a fantastic ride, and the effects continue to impress and just have that wow factor where you're still like, how did they do that?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So that was a highlight for me, that we managed to sort of get on the boarding group. It was touch and go there on Saturday night. Our boarding group's numbers were creeping up, and we were supposed to be heading to dinner at Steakhouse 55, which was something I really didn't want us to have to miss. I will say, if you're ever in a pickle on boarding groups, well, you're just in a pickle on boarding groups, because we went to City Hall to try and get some help to sort of say hey, we've got this dinner reservation, and the response we got was, well, push your dinner reservation out, and which I find sort of particularly kind of unhelpful. That sort of message is, to a guest, is sort of, you change your plans to accommodate our ride, and the fact that it's been broken down for a day and a half, as opposed and you've tried multiple times to get on. Now,
plus this was Saturday night dinner reservations at Steakhouse 55, and where you had to put down a credit card for your reservation. So if we had, just missed our dinner reservation completely, we would have gotten charged some kind of penalty fee. And I'm not sure that we would have really been able to adjust our dinner time because it was a Saturday night. And so it's not so easy to make an adjustment. It's not like a Monday night where, the restaurant's going to be pretty empty and you can make an adjustment really easily.
Yeah. So anyway, I think Rise was a highlight of mine. I think one sort of disappointment I had is that we didn't make it to Trader Sam's. We have been wanting to go there forever. We had intended to go there last night before dinner, but because of everything that happened with Rise of the Resistance, we just couldn't make it happen. And then dinner for us got out around, I want to say 9:30-ish, which with the clock, the time change that happened last night put it to 10:30, and we were just kind of tired from the day, and so wanted to call it a night. I think the other surprise for me was that I think for these kind of adult-only trips, I was telling Sam earlier today, like the Grand Cal is awesome and it has its benefits. We did not use the early entry this morning.
Yeah, we slept in a little bit.
We slept in a little bit, which was nice. But normally, stay at the Grand Cal, so you get that great benefit to get into Pixar Pier early, and we just didn't. We didn't do that. So I actually think we would have been better served staying at the Disneyland Resort, which is where we were originally booked to stay. But I changed the reservation in the last couple of weeks when room availability came open, and they were offering like a little bit of a deal to stay there. So. Is what it is. I think next time I might choose to stay at the Disneyland Hotel and give that a shot. I don't know. Do you have any big disappointments, Sam?
Big disappointments. I would say nothing was a big disappointment, but I would say that I don't think that the sort of the VIP tour was maybe worth the cost, right? I don't know that it really had all the value sort of was cracked up to me. So that I would say, but I wouldn't call that a big disappointment. I still enjoyed it. It just, it just wasn't as amazing as I thought it was going to be. And then on the food and wine, I would say there were some dishes that were really great, and there were other dishes that were just kind of sort of okay, right? Nothing was bad, nothing gross, anything like that, but some of the dishes that I was looking forward to just were kind of one note, nothing really impressive. My favorite thing at the Food and Wine Festival was the fig and lavender cold brew. The cold brew coffee. It was really, really delicious. It's funny because Brian's the one who really drinks cold brew, Starbucks cold brew, every single day. 2 of those big Trenta ones every day. Yep. And I don't drink cold brew because it has a ton of caffeine, even though I like the flavor. It makes me kind of jittery. But this cold brew that I had, I thought was so good. It was my favorite thing, Food and Wine.
Yeah, I agree on Food and Wine. Like, I don't think it was as impressive as the Festival of the Arts food that we just had at Epcot. Like, it just, I don't know, it just felt a little bit... it just felt a little dingy, I'll just say that. Like, there were definitely some good dishes. None of it was bad by any means. Right. Like, none of it was bad.
Nothing was inedible, nothing was bad.
But sort of presenting it as kind of this, like, high-end food thing, for me, I don't know if it was quite that level this year.
It has some novelty, though, of, you get to try a lot of different things and going from booth to booth with your Sip and Savor pass, if you do that. So I do think there's some novelty of that, and there was... some event merchandise. I got my Remy Mickey ears that had little Remy chef's hat in the middle, and that were really cute. So there was some cute merchandise, I would say, for the festival. So there were some pluses, but yeah, the food was not the big highlight you kind of expected to be.
Yeah. So anyway, I think overall a really fun trip, though. A fun weekend. We gathered a lot of content for the vlog and for future podcasts, and you got to meet Chris and Seth, which was really fun.
And we got to meet Remy and Emil, which is
Remy and
really
Emil was a real highlight. Yeah, it was really a real highlight. And that even Wally.
Yes.
I still am blown away. That was really cool. We still don't know where the operator was for that thing, but for that setup. But that was really kind of cool. So yeah, any final thoughts you have, Sam?
I have to go back to work tomorrow. Although we'll be working from home.
Yes, our workplaces have both enforced a work from home policy because of the coronavirus, so we will be spending more quality time together at home working.
Trying to find spaces where we can have private telephone calls, actually. That will be a little bit of a challenge in our house, which is not that big. So that will be. So I'm sad to not sad to go home in the sense it's nice to go home and I want to see our son, but not happy to have to go back to work.
Well, we are quickly approaching the airport here, which I guess will be my final thought for any of you out there who are looking at trips to Disneyland and haven't gone,
where to fly?
yeah, definitely fly into the Orange County Airport. It's like a 15 to 20-minute drive to Disneyland as opposed to LAX. Orange County is also a much smaller airport, so time to get in and out, get a rental car if you want it.
Rental cars are on site mostly.
Time to get in and out of security from gate to gate. Like it is just a breeze. It is one of the best airports to fly in and out of, and you're so close to the parks. LA is like an hour that you're going to lose trying to get back and forth to the parks. Plus, you got to get through LAX security, and the gates are spread out all over the place because it's a major international airport. So if you can fly into Orange County, it's worth it. You'll probably pay a bit of a premium to do that, but it's well worth it. So, and the only other tip I'll give you is unlike Orlando, Disneyland does not have any longer transportation directly from the airports to the parks.
Right. So either you rent a car like we did, or you take a taxi cab, or you take an Uber or a Lyft.
Yeah, and it's all reasonable. Car rental is great if you want to do anything else in LA. I mean, Anaheim Park is so centrally located. You can sort of stay there and go do other things. So.
Right, you can eat off property. A lot of people eat off property. We don't tend to do that much of that, but I know a lot of other guests do.
Yeah, we haven't stayed off property yet either, which we might have to try out sometime. But we're big on property fans for the early morning entry. But yeah. So anyway, that's our final wrap up as we're getting closer to the airport. We've got a lot of video reviews and kind of just trip related videos that are up on the channel now, or will be soon, that will deep dive kind of off of the trip. Reviews of Napa Rose and the Chef's Table, reviews of Steakhouse 55. We did a segment on our VIP tour, and just some other fun things. We've got some other fun vlog content planned even while we're not at the parks. Stay tuned because we've got lots of trips to the parks this year. We're coming back down in April with our son, so
for spring break
we might do some content there. We might have him on the podcast. He asked me, "Daddy, can I be on the show too?"
Did he?
And so we'll see. I'm a little hesitant to put my son out there on social media. I love him dearly, and I don't want his feelings to get hurt.
Maybe we'll have him on the podcast, but not on the vlog.
Maybe. And so, anyway, but we're thinking through segments like the DCL Duo +1. So we'll see about that. But we've got trips planned in with our son in April. We're coming back down in May for Memorial Day weekend. I've got a trip out to Disney World with the Rope Drop Radio crew in June. We're coming back down to Disneyland in July for July 4th weekend.
Oh, that's right.
We've got a cruise planned in September out of Dover that we'll be doing. And then Wine and Dine weekend in November. We might be coming. Oh, we've got October. We're doing a Mexican Riviera cruise, my son and I. So we'll be the DCL Solo +1.
No, sorry, we'll just take my place in the DCL Duo.
Yeah, and then we got that cruise plan plus a couple days at Disneyland at the tail end of it. And then in November I've got Wine and Dine weekends. In December we're going to Disney World with my family for Christmas time and staying at the Riviera, and actually next January Run Disney weekend. So we've got a lot of Disney content coming. We're hoping to meet people, get them on the show. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe, comment below. We'll try to read it. If you're interested in telling us about your experiences, maybe coming on the vlog or the podcast, email us at dclduo@gmail.com. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast and review it over at Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe there as well as other major podcast providers. And we're all over social media at DCL Duo on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I'd say we probably use our Twitter feed most often because we've connected with a lot of great Disney folks on that Twitter feed. But we're also trying to maintain a Facebook page and hopefully maybe stand up a Facebook group at some point for folks to share their experiences. So anyway, we are barreling toward the airport. We're going to be there really soon. And so thanks for watching. And it's been a fun trip, and super excited to have everyone who's watching come along with us for the journey. See you next time.
See you next time.